Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I just got back from my walk and I realized during my walk today that I still haven't done this video. And of all the videos that I ever do, this is probably the most important because if you can't afford to travel, then there's no point in watching anything else really. And so I want to discuss this and get you guys out there traveling. The fun thing about this industry is if you ask 10 different people how they do it, you're probably going to get 10 different answers. And it just shows that you just need to get creative. So in this video, I'm going to share how I do it, but I'm also going to share about 10 to 12 different ideas that I've heard other people use and that works for them. So hopefully that gets you going and on your way to some travel adventures. All right, so the first and probably most expensive thing that you're going to have to buy is airfare. So if you can eliminate the airfare cost, then you've already eliminated, probably cut the cost of your travel in half, especially if you're going abroad. So my tip number one is to work for an airline, and that is what I do. We got hooked. My husband and I had a buddy pass from a friend, and we flew to Paris about 5 years ago on that buddy pass. I think it was about half price, so $600. We ended up in Delta One, which is their business class with the lay down seats, and after that we thought that we couldn't go back to how we traveled before. So the next year we used a buddy pass as well, went to Italy, and then we moved across the country from Ohio to Montana, and I started working for the airlines. Doing that makes your expense minimal, but you do need to be flexible. So if you have questions about this one, shoot me a message. You can go to my blog site, radiantwanderings.com, and you can email me from there, or you can leave a comment below and I will try to answer that for you. All right, tip number two, work for a hotel. This is in a similar vein as the airlines, but probably your second most expensive traveling piece is going to be your accommodation. And if you work for a hotel and you're able to get discounted rooms or some other service, VRBO, Airbnb, something with accommodations, then you're going to be able to travel a lot farther and longer for a lot less. I want to mention with any of these, hotel, airline, remember there are multiple positions available within any of those companies. So whether you're degreed, not degreed, you should be able to find a position in one of these companies that works for you. So I'm not going to belabor that point. I will say I do have an interview with a local hotel here on Wednesday for doing their banquets, which is minimal time commitment, but should provide a nice discount for us when we travel. So hopefully that goes well. All right, another option you have is to work for a tour company or a cruise line. I've looked into backroads.com. They do some amazing tours all over the world. People pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for these things. And if you're the tour guide, you're going on these amazing trips for free and getting your accommodations paid for. I think they fly you from a hub as well to wherever the location is. But there are plenty of tour guide options as well as a cruise line. I think the hours are crazy for those, but spend a year on a cruise, you're saving housing money, saving all the money that you make, and then you can go travel the world. Another option to be able to afford to travel is to rent your house out. I have done this. We have listed our home on VRBO before, and so when somebody pays to rent our home, then basically they're paying for our accommodations wherever we want to go. And it has worked out well. We've never really had any bad experiences. I will say I'm probably not going to do this one anymore. It's really stressful at our stage in our family's life to do this, to be packing for a trip and also getting your home ready to rent. If you are retired and empty nesters, this is probably a great option. If you're single, this is probably a great option. If you have kids that put their shoes in the shoe basket when they get home and hang their coats on the hooks, this is possibly a great option, and congratulations on that. But if your kids don't, then you may want to postpone this option until another stage in life. But it works out great. A couple things you will need to research on that are your city guidelines. There may be an application form that you need to fill out and some logistical work that you need to do before renting. But if you have more questions on that one, shoot me a message, leave a comment, and I will be happy to answer it because we have done that. VRBO, Airbnb are two of the major players in that situation. Another fun option is to teach English abroad. There are many places where you don't even need to be degreed to do this, and they will pay you. I think you have to pay for your housing. I'm not sure. I have never done this, but I've heard of people who have done this, and I do have a link on my blog site, radiantwanderings.com. If you go to How I Can Afford to Travel, there will be a link there if you're interested in learning more about this section. If you don't want to rent your home out, there is a site, there are a few sites where you can do a house swap with somebody. So if you want to get creative, if you want it to be a little bit more personal, I did list that, the name of that one, I think, okay, it's Home Exchange is what it's called, homeexchange.com, and we have used that before as well. So we've used a lot of ways to be able to afford to travel. When we lived in Ohio, actually, which it wasn't a touristy place, but this couple, their son went to college there, and they had a condo in Chicago, and they traded us our little house in Ohio for their condo right in the middle of the action in Chicago, walking distance to Navy Pier. And we had an amazing weekend getaway, and it was lovely. So that is another option. In a similar vein, you could house sit or pet sit for somebody else. That site is trustedhousesitters.com, and I am signed up for that. We haven't done one of those yet. I just haven't had the time, but those as well are all over the world, and you can stay somewhere for free just by watching somebody's pets. If you're a good gardener, some of them have gardens. I am not. I will not sign up for that. They will come back and all of their plants will be dead. So make sure it's something that you're able to take care of well. But if so, that would be a great option. I think it's $100 to sign up for the year, and then you can contact anybody within their network, and they get new listings every day. And I see a lot of them for Australia, London, try to think, plenty in the US if you want, but they have a few all over, even in some Caribbean destinations, a few in Italy. So go and check that out when you have time. Another option that I've heard people use is to become a traveling nurse or a fitness instructor. The traveling nurse, you're going to have a nursing degree, obviously. But if you do and you want to travel, then that is a great way to go see the world, and I think they get paid pretty well. Fitness instructor is, if you're coordinated and athletic, this is a great option. I am neither. I like to go to fitness classes, but I certainly couldn't lead one. But I have heard of people staying at amazing fitness resorts in Bali and all over the world, staying there for free to teach a few classes a day, and then they have the rest of the time as free time for themselves. Let's see, Fitness Travel Pro is one of the sites that somebody told me about, so you can look into that if that one might be up your alley. The last three I'm going to share are not quite as fun, but definitely a way to get there. Budget and save. Figure out where you're spending money that you don't need to be spending and start socking that away for your travels. Credit card offers. You need to be careful with this one. I did get myself in trouble with this one a couple years ago, and then we had to not travel for a while, which was very sad. So if you're very disciplined, credit card offers are a great way to rack up points, do the bonus offers, cancel the credit cards, make sure you're using them responsibly, and then take that. I think my Chase Sapphire or Slate, all the Chase cards, I think they're Visas. With your points, you can get Airbnb cards, gift cards, which is really quite nice because a lot of them just have hotels, and sometimes Airbnbs are a better deal. I think there's one more. Oh yes, travel off season and look for last minute deals. We love traveling off season because the crowds are less. Usually it's not so dang hot. We live in Montana and we don't like it that hot. So April, well, not spring break April. Sometimes spring break can push into April, but maybe late April, early May, September, late September into October, November. Those are your shoulder seasons in a lot of locations, and you're going to get better hotel rates, hopefully better flight rates, and you're going to have less people to deal with. So throw on a jacket and call it good. I hope this has helped you guys. If you have any other additional tips for people, leave them below, because we want to get people out there and get them traveling. And thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time.